What if real commitment to self-growth is not about rules or pressure, but rhythm? Finding your steady flow that lets you grow with balance, compassion, and even space for spontaneity. Welcome back to Unbox the Podcast. I'm Sahar Huneidi Palmer, your host and mentor to conscious, mindful life. In the last episode, we looked at why quick fixes keep us stuck and why real growth means choosing yourself first. Today, we're going one step further. What happens after you make that choice to commit? How do you commit to self-growth without burning out? Commitment often gets confused with rigidity. People think it means lockdown, no freedom, and endless repetition. But true commitment is rhythm. Rhythm is what creates flow, achievement, and joy. Without it, consistency is mechanical and eventually leads to overwhelm. I realized this very young when I started piano lessons at 7 years old. My teacher would set a metronome ticking steadily in the background and always reminded me, "Stick to the rhythm, Sahar." At first, I thought it was about keeping up with time. But then I realized, even if you play every note correctly, without rhythm, the piece feels mechanical. With rhythm, the music flows. It comes alive and it feels joyful. That is when my subconscious mind, if you like, in my adult language, understood the value of rhythm. It transforms effort into flow and flow into achievement. Later, when I began writing my books, I discovered the same truth again. You can't finish a book in one setting. What worked was creating a rhythm, showing up at the same time, in the same space when I felt clearest. Over time, my brain began to associate that time and that space with writing. It took procrastination out of the equation. I wasn't forcing myself, I was flowing because rhythm had programmed my mind, my brain had programmed me to show up and just do it. When I left the corporate world and became self-employed, one of my clients and friends gave me the best advice. She said, "Get up and be at your desk at 9 o'clock every morning as if you were at work. That is the only way it will work." And she was right. That rhythm gave my day shape and stopped me from drifting aimlessly. But as soon as I did, I discovered that even doing that wasn't enough. Life isn't just one task. There are many responsibilities, and if you don't bring them into a rhythm, they scatter your energy and you feel afloat all over the place. So I began to look at all areas of my life, personal and professional. I mapped out chores, creative work, leisure, family, and social time. Even laundry was there. And laundry day fell on Tuesdays. Newsletters on Fridays. Family was weekends. Reading a new book once a month. A movie once a month. Time with friends once a week, and so on. Because nothing is incidental. It was all part of my life. And every chore fell in the right slot, and my life had a rhythm. That way, I wasn't constantly overwhelmed. I wasn't constantly trying to do everything at once. Instead, I knew there was a space for each task, and I could lean into what felt most important or most enjoyable or most opportunistic that day. If writing flowed, I went with it. If time with a friend was more nurturing, I did that instead. And at the end of the day, I had a good day and a lot got accomplished. And by the end of the month, everything was accomplished. That is the power of rhythm. It creates balance without rigidity. Later, when I needed a housekeeper, I shared this approach with her. I suggested she maps her responsibilities in the same way, giving each task its own slot. She got it. She laughed and she said, "All right then, we'll do laundry on Tuesdays." It seems that my rhythm became hers. That's when I realized rhythm is contagious. It creates order, harmony, and flow. It takes the weight of the chaos away for you and for those around you. Let's talk about consistency without punishment. Consistency is often misunderstood. One of my clients always felt she had failed herself if she slipped or missed one day. She would restart from zero each time, punishing herself, and ended up going around in a loop. I told her slipping isn't failure. It means you're human. The power is in returning. That's consistency. Think about your own life. Do you restart from zero each time you slip? Or can you return to your rhythm without much ado, without judgment? When you treat commitment as punishment, you do create burnout. But when you treat it as a rhythm, you create flow and progress. It's easier to honor your commitment that way if you're enjoying the tasks, the goals that you set for yourself. And more importantly, the reason why you committed to that goal in the first place. This way, you're not punishing yourself. So my advice is be your best benign observer. Without criticism or judgment, notice what your natural rhythm is. What about finding balance between discipline and compassion? I used to lean in heavily on discipline. I thought unless I pushed myself, gave it my best shot every time, I wasn't serious about my goals. But I tell you, it drained me. What I learned is that compassion is not weakness. In fact, it's strength. What keeps you going is joy, not pressure. Too much discipline leads to burnout. Too much compassion leads to excuses. Dare I say, endless excuses. Real growth happens in the middle, in the range of balance. So hold yourself accountable, but do it with kindness. Ask yourself, have I done the best with my day today? If yes, that's a good day, a pat on the shoulder. If not, tomorrow you can do better. And remember, compare yourself only to your best abilities. And if you don't enjoy what you do, then ask yourself why. That is accountability. The truth is, flexibility and spontaneity are also part of growth. Because growth isn't mechanical. It's the result of a consistent process that allows for flexibility. Your pulse changes during the day, so does your energy levels. Know when to stop, when to push, when to press on, and when to rest and have a break. That awareness keeps you alive to grow. Some of my best decisions came from spontaneous moments, opportunities I could have never planned. I always maintained a space for flexibility. I can learn very quickly, but also get bored very quickly. So that helped me maintain my interest in what I do by leaning into what felt right at that moment. It kind of taught me if you want to catch the apples, you better stand under the tree. And if you're not catching the apples, it's you who's not standing under the tree. So I kind of detected where the flow was and I aligned myself with it. That way, life stayed in rhythm. Flexibility is not breaking commitment. It is what made commitment sustainable for me. Let's see how that fits with the BEMA methodology. This rhythm shows up in the 4 dimensions of change. If you're not familiar with it, if you're new to Unbox the Podcast, B stands for the body. Honor your cycles. Your energy will rise and fall. E is for emotions. Allow your emotions to flow through you without judgment. It's just like the wind changing directions. You don't judge it, it just happens sometimes. M stands for mind and belief system. Shift from I must to I choose to. That shift frees you. And A stands for accountability. Notice when you drift into rigidity or avoidance and gently return to your rhythm. When you live in rhythm across body, emotions, mind, and action, growth becomes natural, not forced. So when I talk about rhythm, it's not a theory. It is how I live, how I write, how I mentor, how I deal with my life every day. Commitment is not a prison. It's a rhythm that lets you dance with your transformation without burning out. Thank you for joining me in episode 39 of Unbox the Podcast. If this touched you, please follow or subscribe now. And if you're on YouTube, tell me in the comments, where are you joining us from? If you would like to go deeper, do explore my online growth page on the website. You will find tools for life, ebooks, and guided meditations. Many are free when I first release them. And if you would like to support the podcast in a small way, you can buy me a coffee. I will leave the link in the show notes. Until next Tuesday, you can rewrite your story and reclaim your power.